Welcome to Corvette Today, the podcast that talks about everything Corvette, with your host Steve Garrett, MC and DJ at one of the largest Corvette weekends in the country, Corvette Fun Fest, president of the Corvette Club of Kansas City, Missouri, and radio disc jockey at the #1 radio station in Kansas City for over 40 years. Here's Steve Garrett.
Thanks for listening and watching Corvette Today, the show that talks about everything Corvette, and the only current podcast dedicated to Corvette. I'm your host, Steve Garrett. I appreciate you tuning in. Corvette Today is brought to you by Wheelcraft. Want to dress up your Corvette with bright chrome or black chrome wheels? Learn about their advanced PVD chrome finishing. They can refinish your wheels or offer a wheel exchange for most models, and it comes with a 5-year warranty. Visit wheelcraft.com today or call 833-639-4231. You can listen to Corvette Today on all podcast platforms. You can also listen on your smart device. Just say, "Hey Google" or "Alexa, play the podcast called Corvette Today," and you're connected. Be sure and visit the updated Corvette Today website. It's corvettetoday.com. You can also access everything there, including the Corvette Today merchandise store. You can also join the Corvette Today Facebook group there and sign up for Corvette Today emails, notifications, and updates at corvettetoday.ck.page. And if you like YouTube, you can subscribe to the Corvette Today YouTube channel. See all Corvette Today episodes on YouTube. And be sure and patronize our flagship sponsors of Corvette Today, mid-enginecorvetteforum.com, the forum that focuses on the new mid-engine C8 Corvette. Meet a lot of Corvette enthusiasts like yourself at mid-enginecorvetteforum.com. And Soul Performance Products. Developed and manufactured in the United States, the Soul Performance Products exhaust portfolio has been tailored to elevate the experience of the world's most exciting sports cars, including the latest generation of the Corvette. Soul Performance Products at soulpp.com, the official performance exhaust of Corvette Today. Aerolarri Wheels, a true forged wheel with over 20 different unique styles to choose from for your C8 and wide-body versions of the C7, C6, and C5 Corvettes. It's an amazing value, starting at only $23.88 for a set of 4 fully forged wheels. And use the promo code CT111 and get $100 off your purchase. Visit aerolarri.com, that's AEROLARRI.com, and use the promo code CT111 for your $100 discount. And a shout out to Corvette Forum and Canadian CorvetteForum.com, welcoming Corvette enthusiasts from around the world. My guest on Corvette Today is another one of the fresh young faces on the Corvette team. You see her at all the shows. You probably talk to her too. And you see her name badge with her first name on it. Well, she is the program manager for Corvette. Now, you might say to yourself, wow, that sounds pretty cool, but what does a program manager do? She's going to explain that to you today. Her name is Devon Blue. Devon, welcome to Corvette Today.
Thank you so much for having me, Steve. What a pleasure it is to be here.
You know, Devon and I have been talking about getting her on the show for about a year now, so it's an honor and a pleasure to have you on the show, my friend.
Awesome. I'm so happy we were able to finally make it happen.
It's about time, isn't it? Devon, let's start out. Talk about your family. Tell me where you grew up. Talk about your parents and your siblings, if you have any. And did you grow up in a car family?
Well, I am the youngest of 4. I have 2 older brothers and an older sister. Interesting enough, we actually grew up in a very small town, not too far from Bowling Green, actually, called Bardstown, Kentucky. And so I was actually born in Kentucky, not too far from Bowling Green, where we make those wonderful Corvettes. But soon after, I was probably about 3 years old, my parents unfortunately got a divorce, and I actually moved to Cincinnati. So that's really where I spent most of my youth, is in Cincinnati, Ohio, with my mom and my 3 other siblings. We didn't necessarily grow up in a car family per se, but I do remember us having GM vehicles. We owned, I remember, a Monte Carlo. I remember we had this bright yellow Nova. And then when I turned 16, my first car was actually a white Pontiac Le Mans, believe it or not.
Ooh, nice. So growing up, were cars kind of on the radar for you, or did you really like other things?
So I knew I always wanted to be an engineer at a very young age. I didn't necessarily pinpoint an industry per se.
Mm-hmm.
I actually had interest in biomedical engineering, which at the time was mainly a graduate program. So when I was in college, I actually interned at GM, which is where I kind of changed the discipline of engineering I wanted to go into. And so I just really had a great time working there. And I decided to go with mechanical engineering. And that's where I really had my first introduction into the automotive industry. industry. And I really had a great time working there in plant engineering at Flint Assembly.
Nice. Now, talk about the influence your mom and dad had on you at an early age and how they kind of influenced your career as well.
It's actually quite a funny story. I am an engineer today because of my mom. She wasn't an engineer, but I remember at a very young age, I think I was in the third grade at the time, so in elementary school, there was an assembly where there were some parents that came in and they kind of talked about their profession. And I was always a student that was really strong in math and science. And there was this one dad that got on stage and, he kind of put it in layman's terms, right? Because we're only third grade. So, he really kept it simple describing his job. And he talked about, if you're really smart in math and science, you really should be an engineer. And so that was really all I needed to hear. And I remember going home and I told my mom, I said, oh, we had this great assembly, and I want to be an engineer. My mom was always my biggest cheerleader. And I just remember she would tell everybody that would listen. It didn't matter where we were, if we were in the grocery store, in the doctor's office, somebody was going to hear that her baby wanted to be an engineer.
Nice.
And of course, at that point, there was like no turning back. Like I was not going to make my mother a liar. So here I am. Devon, the mechanical engineer.
That's awesome. Now, on a personal note, too, you're a nutrition coach. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, so I love everything nutrition and fitness. It's the thing that keeps me sane, I like to say. But, the real drive behind that is I lost my dad at a really young age. He had a massive heart attack when I was only 19 and he was only 47. And then at 27, I was diagnosed with high blood pressure. And so I've always been an athlete and into fitness. And I just wanted to change the narrative for my family. I didn't want my dad's story to be my story. So I decided very early that I was going to make some lifestyle changes. And that's really been a great part of my journey. I really find joy in helping people understand the role and importance of nutrition. I initially thought, maybe I'd make a business out of it. And I just found that it took away from my purpose of just wanting to help people. I don't want to help people and have to pay for the knowledge that I find joy in sharing. And so I've just really taken that as a part of my own life. But the biggest part of it is just sharing that with other people and helping other people find what brings more health and long living to them. So that's really a joy for me.
Good for you. That's awesome. Now, you actually have 2 degrees. You have one in mechanical engineering and a master's in lean manufacturing operations. Talk more about that and your preferred fields of study.
Yep. As I mentioned before, I do have the bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering that I've received from Tennessee State University. And then once I hired on full time in General Motors, I actually started in manufacturing. And so at the time, having a great deep knowledge of lean manufacturing really made perfect sense for me. And so GM has a program called Technical Education Program. And it's a great program that balances the ability to continue to work full time, manage your family life, but also continue to learn so that you can be an asset to the industry. And so I did take part in that TEP program, what we call it, and received my master's in lean manufacturing while still working at GM full time.
Very nice. Well, Devon, let's take our first break. When we come back, we're going to talk more about your college career and your start at General Motors here, coming up next on Corvette Today.
We all know that wheels make the car. Wheelcraft's PVD chrome finish in bright chrome or black chrome will take your Corvette to new levels. And it comes with a 5-year warranty. Durability is a defining feature of the Wheelcraft finish. Their PVD chrome is superior to traditional chrome with a finish that is brake dust resistant and cleans effortlessly with soap and water. Wheelcraft offers factory wheel exchange for select C4 through C8 models, or they can apply the PVD finish to your current wheels. No matter what generation you own, Wheelcraft will transform the look of your Corvette. With every Corvette comes a unique story, and Wheelcraft has embraced this idea. When you purchase your new set of wheels, you receive a lifetime membership to the Wheelcraft Pit Crew, granting you access to your own page on Wheelcraft's website, where you can post pictures and tell your Corvette story. Visit our website at wheelcraft.com or call 833-639-4231. Arrive in style with Wheelcraft.
Stretch the life of your Corvette's paint with NovaStretch, the performance protective cover. NovaStretch masks protect your C4 through C8 Corvette from bugs and rock chips, and utilize stretch fabric technology and an innovative fastening system for quick installation, easy removal, and storage. Made in the USA for a tailored fit, the patented design and breathable mesh protects your Corvette without rubbing or chafing the paint. And unlike clear film or old-time car bras, NovaStretch provides provides full front end coverage, including the grille, keeping the radiators and heat exchangers clean and debris-free. NovaStretch masks make a perfect holiday gift or stocking stuffer for the hard-to-buy-for Corvette enthusiast on your shopping list. And if you're planning on going on the Caravan next year, a NovaStretch mask is a must. Visit novastretch.com and use the promo code Corvette Today 15. Get 15% off your purchase. Protect your Corvette with NovaStretch.
Are you ready to take your Corvette to the next level? Look no further than Classic Trim Customs. We've manufactured some of the most impressive Corvette parts on the market, from engine bay panels to splitters and side skirts. With over 30 years of experience in hydrographics, we've perfected the technique and use only state-of-the-art materials and equipment to ensure the highest quality and precision. Visit our website at ClassicTrimCustoms.com or give us a call at 305-258-3090 to learn more about our products and services. Whether you want to create a show-stopping ride or just add a touch of personalization, the sky is the limit with Classic Trim Customs. Let us help you create the Corvette of your dreams.
Hi, I'm Phil Pataki with Car Capsule. Our new signature model comes with a carbon fiber look floor with double stitching and zipper pulls for easy up and down, easy access. We have our LED light kit with a remote control, and of course we have the IntelliCharger that actually integrates with this car and many other cars. We preserve and protect and present the finest vehicles in the world, and yours is next. Check us out at carcapsule.com.
And now, back to Corvette Today with your host and my husband, Steve Garrett.
Hey, thanks for checking out Corvette Today on podcast and YouTube. It's the only current podcast dedicated to Corvette. Corvette Today is brought to you by Wheelcraft. You want your Corvette looking its best? Well, dress it up with bright chrome or black chrome wheels. Visit wheelcraft.com and learn about their advanced PVD chrome finishing. They can refinish your wheels or do a wheel exchange, and you get a 5-year warranty. Visit wheelcraft.com today or give them a call, 833-639-4231. I'm your host, Steve Garrett. With me today is Devon Blue, the Program Manager for Corvette. In the second segment, Devon, let's talk more about your college career and your start at General Motors. You know, in the first segment, we touched on your 2 degrees from the different universities. You've got your Bachelor of Science, as you said, from Tennessee State. But you've also got your Master's of Science in Manufacturing Operations from Kettering University. Talk more about your college career and how you got all those degrees.
Yep. Again, I'm always about all these interesting stories. And so when I was a senior in high school, I remember my guidance counselor calling me down and she said, hey, you know, there's a summer program that you can attend at Tennessee State. After doing some research, I found out that if I attended and was one of the top students in the summer program, I would be awarded a full scholarship. Now, who wouldn't like that?
Yeah.
So I went down to Nashville, Tennessee, spent 8 weeks in a summer program that was basically college during the summer. We stayed on campus. We took classes just like we were in school with real professors. They graded our material. We had test homework, the whole 9 yards. And then at the end of the program, I did find out that I was one of those top participants and that I could attend the college for free if I wanted to do so. And so, of course, with that great news, not for just myself, but also for my mom being a single mom with 4 children, it was just a great opportunity. And so, of course, that's kind of how I ended up there at Tennessee State University and getting my Bachelor's of Science in Mechanical Engineering. You know, I later found out, believe it or not, that General Motors was one of the sponsors and contributors to my scholarship. And so I was able to intern for 2 summers at GM. And after having those 2 interns, I was offered the full-time position. And so after working for a few years, I think I mentioned earlier that I took part in the GM Technical Education Program. It's called TEP. And that's really how I got into my master's in manufacturing operations. And so while I was able to work full-time, I attended classes through Kettering University online, which was a great way for me to manage my career. My family at the time, I had small children, and I was able to find the time to continue my education. So super thankful for General Motors for both helping me with my undergrad and my grad.
Yeah, that's really cool. So was the goal always to get into General Motors and build your career there then?
Well, you know, after finding out about their contribution to my scholarship and all of that, it definitely was where I wanted to be. I know growing up, I grew up in Cincinnati. Most engineers from there graduated and went to work for Procter and Gamble. But again, having that knowledge that General Motors took the time and the finances to invest in me, and I was definitely appreciative of that. That's really where I wanted to end up. And then having 2 successful summer internships, I was super excited to be able to work for such a great organization.
Yeah, definitely. Now, I always love to hear the stories about how you got into GM. Talk about the interview you had and the story about you getting hired at General Motors.
So because I did intern, I never had to interview for my full-time position.
Oh,
But I will say my 2 summers and internships was kind of a 2-phase interview, if you will, right? And so they were looking at how I was performing when I was working at Flint Assembly, and it was enough to show them at that time that I would be a good asset to the GM family. I do remember, though, going in as a young high school, well, actually, I was in college at the time, but a young 18, 19-year-old going in for my first interview in a big organization like General Motors. When I was interviewing for my internships, I remember them pulling me to the side. There were, I don't know, several students from different colleges interviewing, and I remember them pulling me to the side and into the office and saying, you know, the interviews that you had today, the interviewers really enjoyed you, and they wanted to extend an offer to you while you were here today. And they said, you know, this is not something that we typically do because we continue to have students come in and interview, but they really liked you. And so they really want to secure you as a summer intern here. And so it really worked out great. So I was able to go in there and kind of wow the interviewers at the time. And that was kind of my first interview with General Motors as a 18, 19-year-old trying to secure an internship. And that was really the only interview I had. So
wow. That's amazing. I mean, look at you, a late teenager, and you're impressing them enough that they want you there for the summer. That's pretty fantastic.
yeah, it was a great opportunity.
That's great. All right, so you're in General Motors. You got a full-time job. What were your first jobs at General Motors? And talk about how that led you to Corvette.
So I've been with GM actually for 23 years now, and I've worked in various organizations. I started off my career in manufacturing. I started as a manufacturing engineer in an organization we call General Assembly Engineering, and I provided tooling to all of the full-size SUV and pickup trucks at the time. There were 7 of them, and I would travel to all of them when we were launching new products, and I would work with third-party suppliers and develop lift hoists and things like that that they needed on the assembly line. But once I started having a family, traveling week after week really wasn't sustainable. And so I was able to secure a work assignment at Moraine Assembly, which actually took me closer to home because it's in Dayton, Ohio, which is just a little north of Cincinnati. We made the Chevy Trailblazer there, the GMC Envoy, Buick Rainier, and the Saab 97S. And so I started off there as a production supervisor. That was a very character building assignment, to say the least. And then I moved into being a problem solver there at the plant where we use strategic problem solving methodologies. And kind of my expertise was in water leaks. And so I spent a lot of time in and out of vehicles trying to make sure that 100% of our vehicles went through the water booth, that if we ever had any evidence of water, that I was right there on target to root cause those. Unfortunately, Moraine closed. And so I transitioned back to Michigan and I started working as the validation and test engineer for the Volt battery back in 2009. And then after that, I joined program quality and I worked on the Chevy Blazer program at the time, which is another exciting product that we have.
Yeah.
And so then I transitioned after working on the Blazer. An opportunity presented itself to be the program quality manager on the Corvette. So I decided to move over to that side of the world and I became the program quality manager. And about a little over a year and a half ago, I then transitioned to being the program manager. So needless to say, I've got a pretty diverse career working for GM, but the space that I'm in right now has definitely been the highlight of my 23 years for sure.
Very nice. So how long have you been then with Corvette? You started with C8, didn't you?
I did, yeah. So I've been working for the Corvette team for a little over 6 years now.
Okay.
And I started out as the program quality manager about halfway through the launch of the C8. There comes another funny story. I remember when the opportunity came available, being a little unsure, like, do I really want to move over to that team? And I remember coming home and talking to my husband and saying, this opportunity has presented itself. And he looked at me and he's like, you're kidding, right? He's like,
Wow.
what is there to think about? It's Corvette. And so I accepted the role moving over to the Corvette team, and it really, truly has been the best decision. This team is awesome to work with. I mean, it really is just the icing on the cake right now. I work with some of the brightest and hardworking people at GM. And so, to say the least, I'm very passionate about this car and about the team that I work with. It's definitely been a great ride.
Well, and thanks to your husband for pushing you in that direction.
I know, right?
That's fantastic. Devon, let's take our final break. When we come back, we're going to talk more about what a program manager is for Corvette. That's coming up next on Corvette Today.
Are you ready for a better insurance policy without the Corvette tax? With Agreed Value Protection, the value of your collector vehicle will never change. Plus, you'll save money. Get a quick quote at ncminsurance.com.
Yogi Berra once said, if you don't know where you're going, you'll probably end up there. At True Wealth & Company, we take that to heart. See, at True Wealth & Company, we believe your retirement lifestyle travels through two doors. Door number one, the blue door, gives you more options, financial freedom. Your money outlives you. Every happiness you wish for in life is through the blue door. Door number two, the red door, is where you outlive your money. You rely on family, friends, or even the state to take care of you. At True Wealth & Company, we're not just financial planners. The best way to walk through the blue door is to have a written plan. Make a work-optional lifestyle a reality with our proprietary True Life Map formula. Look towards your future with anticipation, not apprehension. Having a rock-solid fiduciary partner like True Wealth & Company is essential to effective financial planning. There's no winging it. There's nothing left to chance. Look, we don't want you to become another Yogi Berra-ism. Give us a call today at 913-653-TRUE. Visit us online at retirewithtrue.com. Start your financial independence and work-optional lifestyle today.
913-653-8783. Visit us online at retirewithtrue.com. Investment advice offered through True Wealth & Company, LLC, a registered investment advisor in the state of Kansas.
VetFinders.com is the Internet's original Corvette classified ads website, with classified ads starting at just $25. And every ad runs until your Corvette is sold. If you're in the market for a Corvette, VetFinders.com has over 500 Corvettes for sale from all around the USA and Canada and covering all 8 generations. Visit VetFinders.com, the Internet's destination for buying and selling Corvettes. That's VETTE Finders.com.
The Radiator Grill Store offers protection for your C8's front radiators and side intakes. They also carry front strut tower covers to prevent rusting and pooling water, all with do-it-yourself installation. Get 10% off your total purchase with promo code CT10. See the full line of products at radiatorgrillstore.com.
When you want to buy a Corvette, or any Chevrolet for that matter, get yours from Hendrick Chevrolet Shawnee Mission, located in Kansas City. Hendrick Chevrolet is the largest Corvette dealership and showroom in the Midwest. With a knowledgeable sales staff and Corvette sales specialists on hand, they'll help you build the Corvette of your dreams, and they ship nationwide. With Corvette certified master mechanics on site and a huge parts department with over 24,000 parts and $2 million in inventory, Hendrick Chevrolet is well equipped to take care of your every need. From sales to service to collision repair, Hendrick Chevrolet has you covered. Visit ChevyUSA.com or call 913-384-1550.
You're enjoying the only current podcast on Corvettes, Corvette Today.
Hey, thanks once again for listening and watching Corvette Today, the show that talks about everything Corvette. Corvette Today is brought to you by Wheelcraft. You want your Corvette looking its best? Well, dress it up with bright chrome or black chrome wheels. Visit wheelcraft.com and learn about their advanced PVD chrome finishing. They can refinish your wheels or do a wheel exchange, and you get a 5-year warranty. Visit wheelcraft.com today or give them a call, 833-639-4231. I'm your host, Steve Garrett. With me is the program manager for Corvette, Devon Blue. In this final segment, we're going to talk about exactly what a program manager is. Devon, let's start off the segment that way. Tell me what your job entails being the program manager for Corvette.
So overall, Steve, my job function is to ultimately oversee the execution of our vehicle launches and any life cycle improvements of the vehicle program. And we operate in what we call program execution teams. And by that, I mean, it's made up of representation across all of GM functional areas. So there's representation from design, from engineering, from marketing, from finance, from purchasing, from manufacturing. And then, of course, our executive chief engineer, Tad Structor, and our chief engineer, Josh Holder, are a part of that team as well. I kind of characterize it as being like their chief of staff, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So as a program manager, I make sure that we as a cross-functional team are meeting our deliverables throughout the vehicle development process. And I make sure that we as a team are in alignment as we make critical decisions, because as one organization makes a decision, it impacts the whole enterprise sometimes. So it's really important that we are in lockstep and that we have great communication. And so that things that impact one organization gets cast across the whole cross-functional team, and we can adjust to make sure that we're bringing the product to market with quality and on time.
Very nice. So you touch all areas of Corvette, but you've got to be incredibly organized.
Oh, being organized is absolutely important. It is for any program manager for that matter, but Corvette is a very complex program with all of the variants and the offerings that we have for our customers. It's definitely a must to be very organized. While we're always working to make our vehicles better, we still have to consider what we currently have in production. So, it's balancing, what are we doing for the future while also continuously improving what we have in production today. And thankfully, I work with a lot of great people, and I have, a great an awesome assistant program manager, that really helps keep me in line and keep the rest of the team in line as well.
Very nice. Now, talk about some of the unique hurdles inherent with your job as a program manager, Devon.
As I mentioned before, it's really important that the decisions that we make get cascaded across all the functional areas, because one decision, whether it be a design change or cost or an offering, whatever the case may be, it's really important that that gets cascaded across all the functional areas, because they may need to pivot. Sometimes that can be challenging, and then sometimes not everybody from each functional area agrees on a decision. And so it's really my job to make sure that I lead us as a collective team to what decision is best overall for the collective team. And that's kind of where one team comes in, and part of the reason why I love working on the Corvette team. I don't know if I've mentioned it already, but we truly are kind of like a family. And within your family, you may have disagreements, but at the end of the day, you hug it out and you keep moving. And that's really how we operate on Team Corvette. It really is a great group of people, and we always find a way to get to ultimately the decision that is best for our customers.
Very nice. And you're right. The team is like a family. Everybody that has been part of Corvette Today has been fantastic. They treat me like a friend and a respected resource for Corvette, and I really do appreciate that. For the C8, we're obviously into the 8th generation, and this is the 5th model year because we started production on the 2024 model years just a little bit ago. Talk about some of the ongoing items and projects that you have to keep track of and organized as the C8 goes into its 5th year of production.
So as I mentioned before, we're always working to make our vehicles better. And I think one of the key things that helps us is we have the ability to support several events during the year. So we have the unique ability to interact with our customers firsthand, and we get great feedback. And we take that feedback and we discuss it as a collective team. In some instances, we're able to bring some of those items into production, like the visible window on the convertible that's now available in 24, or the cinching front. So those are some of the things that we heard from our customers, and we're gladly able to bring those things to market. And so we'll just continually looking for ways to make our product better. Needless to say, there's never a dull moment working on Corvette. We're always excited and eager to find new ways to delight our customers with great products and offerings.
I think it's so fantastic that you guys reach out and touch customers and talk with them and find out what they want and then put it into production. And your example of the visible window is a prime example of what you're talking about. I think that's absolutely fantastic. So as your role in program manager, do you get to work with the people at Corvette Racing as well?
I do, actually. It's another one of those unique opportunities working on Corvette. At every race, there's usually a Corvette corral. And we typically send members from our program team to do a presentation at the corrals and interact with the customers that are there. So I work with the motorsports team to coordinate that support. I was, in fact, able to attend my first race this year at Laguna Seca, and it was by far one of the highlights of my career. Being able to witness the enthusiasm and just the pure thrill of seeing the race was so fascinating. I'd never been to a Corvette race before, and to be able to go and experience the pit, to see the drivers and the technicians working in the race car garage, it truly was an awesome, exhilarating experience.
That's fantastic. Well, Devon, thank you so much for taking the time to be on Corvette Today. Like we said at the beginning of the show, we've been talking for about a year about having you on the show. It's about time we did it, and it's been fantastic.
Well, Steve, it truly has been my pleasure. I really appreciate the time to be able to explain to people, what I do for Team Corvette. And I'd be willing to come back anytime you'd have me.
That'd be fantastic. Let's do it again soon.
Okay. Have a great one. Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to Corvette Today. And please be sure to tell your family, friends, and other Corvette enthusiasts about the Corvette Today podcast. And thanks to our sponsors. Wheelcraft. Want to dress up your Corvette with bright chrome or black chrome wheels? Visit wheelcraft.com to learn about their advanced PVD chrome finishing. They can refinish your wheels or offer a wheel exchange for most models, and it comes with a 5-year warranty. Visit wheelcraft.com today or call 833-840-5334. Soul Performance Products at soulpp.com, the official exhaust of Corvette Today. True Wealth & Company at retirewithtrue.com. Also, Aerolarri Wheels. Get $100 off your purchase with the new promo code CT111 at aerolarri.com. And Hendrick Chevrolet in Kansas City at chevyusa.com.
You've been listening to Corvette Today with Steve Garrett. If you'd like to contact Steve with any thoughts on the podcast or ideas for guests on Corvette Today, you can email him at stevegarrettdj@gmail.com. That's stevegarrettdj@gmail.com. Garrett has 2 R's and 2 T's. Or connect with Steve on social media on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram using @SteveGarrettDJ. Thanks again for listening to Corvette Today.